Hello and welcome to Getting to Good Enough, a podcast to help you let go of perfectionism so you can do more of what you love. I'm Shannon Wilkinson, a life coach in Portland, Oregon. I'm a recovering perfectionist who's getting better at good enough.
And I'm Janine Adams, a certified professional organizer in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm lucky enough to be naturally good at good enough.
And today we are talking about working through a backlog. Hey Janine.
Hey Shannon, how are you?
I'm great.
Good.
I feel very professional with my new microphone.
It's very exciting. We both got new microphones, the same one, and
Yes.
we're hopeful that our lives will be a little bit easier because our technology was a little old with the old mics.
Yes, it worked well. They worked well for quite some time, but it was time to upgrade. And maybe we'll have to put a picture in of the mic, because now there's a mic hanging in front of my face as opposed to standing at the desk.
Right, and I have not set up my stand thing, so mine is just standing on the desk on top of two thick books. So definitely the picture should come from your studio. Do you feel like I think I'm about to date myself. Do you feel like putting your hand over your ear like Gary Owens in Laughing?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's funny.
Well, I hope that the audio quality, certainly the audio quality in our test was good, and I'm hopeful that it will be even improvement even for the listeners.
Yes, I hope so. So today we are talking about working through backlogs.
Yes. Yay. I like to work through backlogs.
Yeah, there is something sort of satisfying when you do that, when you're successful at it.
Oh, yeah. Sort of satisfying.
Really satisfying.
Yes. Yeah, the only thing more satisfying would be to live without ever making any backlogs. But
right. Well, and this is sort of an informal two-parter. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to set up systems so that you can prevent backlogs from forming in the first place.
Right. Right. So today we'll focus on getting rid of backlogs that accumulate.
Yeah. And I feel like this is very apropos given what we've talked about so far, because there's a little bit of a backlog of papers I'm going to have to clear up before I can take a photograph of my quote-unquote studio.
Right. Yeah, well, you know what? You could take a picture before you do that, and then you have a delightful before and after picture.
I could. That's
my life.
Idea.
I do that all the time, right? Because I blog about organizing and decluttering. So I'm forever, when I start, in my own office, I always take a before picture. And right now, it would be a pretty good before picture in my office.
And by good, you mean
potential for dramatic.
Before.
Yes, potential for dramatic transformation. There's a lot of opportunity here.
Right. I like putting it that way because there's a lot of opportunity on my desk right now. Some real quick wins, because mostly it's just stuff that didn't get put away, that has places to go, but I just didn't put it there.
Right. I mean, that's the thing, right? I've said this on the podcast before, but my definition of clutter is having more things than you can comfortably store. So if you actually have a place to put something, then you can pretty easily put it away. And you don't this stuff isn't technically, in my opinion, clutter, but it's just stuff that needs to be go home to its homes.
Right. Yeah. And that's mostly what's on my desk, although there is a fair backlog of papers that need to be filed.
Mm-hmm. And I have, this is actually, the podcast is always so helpful for me in my own life. And in this case, on my task list on my internal task list, I don't know that it's actually made it into written form, but I've been thinking about what I need to be creating some systems for dealing with some stuff that is accumulating in my office. So while I work on that, I'll have fodder for next week.
That's great.
Talk about, but it's mostly things like, we always say that oftentimes clutter happens when there's been some sort of change or transition in one's life. Usually it's more dramatic than the example that I'm about to give, but, a divorce or a death in the family or a new child or a new marriage, those things can make organizing systems fall to pieces. And then it doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means you have to figure out a new way. But in Mike, that example I'm coming up with for me is I started depositing all my checks via an app rather than taking them to the bank. And for some reason, I seem to have a difficult time just shredding those checks after I've deposited them. So they're like in an area, but they're definitely there's not a good system in place for them.
Well, I know this isn't what we're talking about right now, but you are supposed to hold on to those checks for a period of time after depositing them.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm thinking about this right now is because I just realized it's a system failure of why I have such a backlog of filing right now. I did not switch over my folders from the odd year to the even year, my Freedom Filer folders.
Right. So it's only mid-February as we're recording this, so you're not too behind. But yeah.
No. But yeah, so that failure of that system is part of what's caused the backlog. But I was just going to suggest to you that you just stick them in a Freedom Filer folder that then they'll get shredded or disposed of properly.
In a monthly folder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I hope that wasn't
well, we accidentally jumped ahead to next week.
It's going to be interesting. Let's see if we can manage this two-part thing. But overcoming backlogs. So we're going to talk about, I think, Shannon, how some suggestions for ways to approach a backlog so that you can let go of it, get through it without feeling overwhelmed and so forth.
Yes. And the two big backlogs I have right now are paper, primarily stuff that needs to get filed, and email. I haven't been super on top of my email, but then I also discovered there was a problem with my server and emails weren't getting downloaded and things were getting shuttled off to spam, and I don't even understand what was happening, but now I have over 10,000 emails in my inbox.
Oh, no. You poor thing.
Yeah. And there's a not insignificant part of me that just wants to declare email bankruptcy and just start from here. But I also worry that there's something in there that I need.
Oh, boy. And it's stuff that you haven't seen before?
Well, it's a mix. There's stuff I haven't seen before, and there's stuff I've seen before.
Is the stuff you hadn't seen before unread? I mean, marked unread?
No, this is all unread.
Oh.
So it's the mechanics of how it happened. I'm not fully clear on it. But, so I'm thinking about how do I work through 10,000 emails.
Right. Well, can I tell you what I would do?
Yeah, please do.
I would I'm not looking at it, so it's possible I'm suggesting something that isn't practical, but I would sort it by sender. I'd start by sorting it by sender, and then I'd go for the low-hanging fruit. So subscriptions, I don't know what you got in there, but if there's a lot of newsletters or sales from vendors,
Right.
then I sorting them by sender would allow you to delete those wholesale, whole cloth, whole something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that I bet you would get you cut down quite a lot.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I think that just to sort of get the chaff out of the way first, and get it down to a manageable number.
And you might think about if there are any subject line words that would for sure be, or would most likely be something that you'd want to get rid of, like sale or free or Shannon, comma.
Right.
That might help. Maybe you get creative and make a game out of it.
Yeah. There was an app that was a game, an email game. They totally gamified your inbox. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, a little bit. And I couldn't use it because it was like Gmail only or something.
Yeah, I think it is, or I don't know if it even exists anymore, but it was Gmail only.
Right.
But yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think that that's a good, that idea of going for the low-hanging fruit when you have a big backlog to work through is a good one. It's a little hard to embrace if you have previously embraced the idea of like touch everything once. Mm-hmm. But just when it's that big of a pile, you got to narrow it down somehow.
Right. Yeah. If you can come up with an easy way to put like things together that you can get rid of, then and see the similar things that you have, then that's really helpful. And email, I think it's helpful in lots of things. When we organize, when I bring in an organizing team into a clutter situation, the first thing we do is sort like things together so the client can more easily make decisions about them. So it's a lot easier to make a decision about all your purses at once than it is to come across a purse and have to decide on it.
Right.
So I think the same principle would apply here with your email.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm even thinking that it would be sort of useful with my filing, instead of, picking up a piece of paper and filing it, to I happen to have a bed in my office, which is very convenient for laying out piles of things, and just taking a stack and sort of sorting it into like utility bills, rental bills, whatever, and doing a quick sort that way, and then filing things because I don't actually sort. I don't do the Freedom Filer monthly files because I don't keep the things that I don't need to keep for tax purposes, and I don't want to have to pull them out of monthly files. Yeah. So
you're only keeping tax-related documents and you're putting them in tax-related files.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. Yeah, very good.
So for some reason, it seems easier to just grab a stack of things and then stick them in piles really quickly than filing paper one by one.
Well, it is easier. The reason it seems easier is that it is easier. Because if you're doing it one by one, then you have to open the file over and over again. And if you have all the rent documents or together, I can't remember what categories you said, you grab the handful of them and open the file and put them in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I know I use when I'm dealing with filing paper myself is a timer. So I do exactly what you suggested. I'll do a presort, and then I'll file. And depending on the size of the backlog, you can set a timer if you're having any resistance to getting started, and say, okay, I'm just going to work on sorting this pile into the subpiles for 10 minutes or something, or however long you feel you can stand it, and then stop then and put it away neatly. Use binder clips to keep your piles together that you've already sorted.
Yeah.
And then bring it out again and do another 10 minutes or however you want to do it. And so the timer works for no matter which stage you're on. You just pick up where you left off.
Yeah, that's great. The timer is so helpful.
Mm-hmm.
It just
sure is.
Yeah, it's makes what feels like a never-ending task. Like, well, I can do this for 10 minutes. I don't want to do it for the million years it's going to take me to finish this.
Right.
But I can definitely do it for 10 minutes.
And it feels like a million years, but when you split it into 10 or 20 or 30-minute increments, it's actually kind of amazing how fast you can get it done.
Exactly.
Especially if you're letting it be as easy as you can and, not filing everything. Like you're doing, you're not keeping things that aren't tax related. One the trap I think that people fall into with filing is they feel if they have a file that would accommodate this piece of paper, they should keep it. But that's not necessarily the case. Like, you can discover that there was no need to keep all those receipts from Crate and Barrel or whatever.
Right.
That's kind of a bad
I know. I used
example.
to have like all my grocery store receipts. It's not like I'm going to take my food back.
Right. Exactly.
I can toss that into recycling immediately.
And if you're not writing off a home office, you can let go of your, typically you can let go of your utility receipts, for example. Yeah. So keeping only the things that you need to keep is a good first step on that. And being kind of, ask yourself, what's the worst that'll happen if I let this go and I ended up needing it? Can I get another one? Yeah, probably. If it's a financial document in particular. So I think you're absolutely right to pre-file by sorting things into their categories, and then same works with the email, and the same works with the timer with the email. I do that all the time when my inbox gets a little out of control. I set a timer and work on it for just a few minutes, and I always start with the low-hanging fruit. Mm-hmm. I did it this morning. In fact, I had 138, I think it was, or 141 in my inbox when I set a timer for like 7 minutes, and I finished the 7 minutes and had like 40.
Wow.
So that was good. And I discovered a couple of emails that really needed to be responded to that I completely had forgotten about because I've been traveling and stuff. So it was a good exercise.
Yeah. Well, and it's good to know that even when you have good systems, and we'll talk about that more next week, but that things can sort of sneak up on you a little bit, and that just allowing yourself to deal with the backlog quickly and with as much ease as possible, making it as easy on yourself as possible is the best way to proceed.
Yes, or a very good way to proceed.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned this before, but the idea, I think that some people get into a mindset where when they have a backlog of things, organizing things that need to be organized in particular, that they can't do anything else until the backlog's taken care of. And that's one of the reasons another reason I like the timer is you can, put all your backlogs, all the filing, for example, together. I mean, email's great because it doesn't take up physical space, but put it all together, work on it for whatever length of time, say it's 20 minutes, and then put it away, and move on with your life. And I know I used to have a box. It was a pretty fabric-covered box called Backlog, and that's where I would put the paper in there and the paper might represent not just filing, but stuff that needed to get done. But I would have on my task list to work on the backlog box for half an hour in the morning or something, and then I would get through that stuff. That's an idea that I got from Mark Forster. I think that was from his book. Yeah, that was from Do It Tomorrow. And he called it the current initiative. I believe. I can't remember exactly what current initiative meant. I just remember the phrase. But I think that meant the current initiative was whatever your top thing was. And he suggested if you have a backlog that It should be your current initiative till it's gone. But yeah, your backlog doesn't have to be so overwhelming that you can't get anything else done.
Right. Well, and the other part of that, which is why we wanted to do this as a two-parter, is that it can be really frustrating if you are working through your backlog and incoming stuff is continuing to add to it. Mail is coming in, email is coming in, whatever it is continues to add to it. So it can feel sort of relentless and like you won't ever be finished. And so that's why we wanted to talk about next week putting systems in place so that you can stay current with the current stuff while working through your backlog.
Right. And I would imagine, just because I can't resist just saying this now, even though I should wait until next episode, that with your, could it be true that with your email situation, you could move all those 10,000 messages to a different folder, create a folder for them, and that's not your inbox, so that you can stay on top of your inbox? Incoming stuff.
Things are a little bit complicated because my preferred email client, I can't manipulate stuff with that easily. Oh. And so it's a little, I can't figure out how to make that work for both the email clients that I use. And so I'm going to try that because it would be nice to get to inbox zero, even if it is artificially by creating a backlog folder.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, at least you can stay on top of what's coming in, and not that's sort of a icky feeling when you're afraid stuff's coming in that you're not seeing because you have an inbox swamp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is one of your, do you use Mac Mail? I forget.
I use Mac Mail and I also use Spark.
Right. I wonder whether there's any way, I don't know Spark Mail very well, but I wonder whether in Mac Mail, if you weren't able to isolate the backlog, if there would be a way to set a rule that any incoming mail new from this point forward is like a different color or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think there might be.
Know. There probably is. And if there's something simple I can do like that, I think that's a great idea. I'm also aware I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time trying to figure that out when I could be spending that time going through it.
The backlog, exactly. Well, I'm going to spend 5 minutes on that for you, Shannon, after we get through recording.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, gosh. Well, and then the other place that I see in my clients' homes, I act like I never see it in my home, which is not true, is backlog of snail mail, postal mail that comes in with people who don't want to address the mail as it comes in the door or can't. That quickly becomes overwhelming.
Yes, and that depending on when you get your mail and where you put it down once you pick it up, that can become a big problem.
Mm-hmm. But dealing with the backlog with that actually is very similar to what we're talking about. Because what I usually say is, first thing, throw away all the junk mail. And if you do a quick sort where you're putting like things together, not froms necessarily, but all your Bed Bath & Beyond coupons and all your magazines you never asked for and, credit card offers, and just do a quick sort and get them together, then it becomes easier to dispose of a big chunk of it.
Yeah. And that's definitely something that I try to do is, when I pick up the mail as I'm walking into the house, I'm pulling out the things that can go immediately into the recycling bin and put them immediately into the recycling bin.
Mm-hmm. Me too. It's those pesky things that can't immediately go into the recycling bin that can become challenging. But we can talk about that next week.
Yes, we will talk about those systems next week. Yeah.
Although now that I'm thinking about it, though, there is, when you have a backlog of mail and you do isolate the stuff that actually needs to be dealt with, I think my biggest suggestion is having a place to put it so it's not clutter. Because if you leave it on the table so that you don't lose it, chances are something's going to get put right on top of it. So just having a place for it, a designated spot on your desk for this mail backlog, or a file folder, or a container of some sort, and then setting aside time on your calendar in your schedule to actually do it. And simultaneously not letting a backlog build with the new mail that comes in.
Right. Yeah. So I think the key to working through a backlog is to break it up into small chunks, get the low-hanging fruit, and the other thing I was going to say slipped through my mind.
Well, I'll add oftentimes putting like things together so that you can easily see what you have. And
that makes a lot of
discard
sense.
stuff more easily.
Yeah, and this is one of the ironic beauties of a backlog is, by the nature of the passage of time, things often become irrelevant if they've sat around long enough.
Right. Yes.
I'm not suggesting using that as a strategy, but do keep in mind that things will probably become less relevant as you get through your piles than they might have been when they first came in.
Invitations are a good example of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Invitations for events that have gone by are pretty easy to let go of. Yeah. And so I think that you and I should take some before pictures, and then when we maybe by the time this episode airs and we're doing the show notes for it, we'll have some great after pictures we can show. I don't know. I air my dirty laundry all the time, so that idea of that doesn't bother me.
You can sense my hesitancy.
I know.
Looking over my desk, which probably means I should do it.
Well, you don't have to. I'll commit to doing it, and if you want to do it too, that would be great.
All right.
And also, what I like to do when I do that is try to keep track of how much time elapsed between time of effort.
Yes.
Between the before and after, and it's usually shockingly small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've sent you plenty of before and after pictures of my desk before, and then my desk like 15 or 30 minutes later, and because the stuff that piles up is just sheerly out of me not taking the extra step to put something away.
Right.
Generally speaking.
Yep.
So
I have that problem myself.
Yeah. Well, I should listen to Mike's dad's words of advice, which were, the job's not done until the tools are put away.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that good?
That is good. It goes for laundry, people. I say this to people all the time. The laundry's not done until the clothes are put away. I didn't know I was channeling Mike's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, we want to hear from you. Do you have a different kind of backlog we didn't talk about? Do you have other ideas on how to work through backlog, or something maybe that we didn't answer? You can let us know at 413-424-GTGE. That's 4843. Or on social media. On Twitter, we're at GTG Enough. And on Facebook and Instagram at Getting to Good Enough. And always find us online on our website at gettingtogoodenough.com, where you'll find the show notes for today's episode and all of our past episodes. But for now, this is Shannon Wilkinson in Portland, Oregon.
And Janine Adams in St. Louis, Missouri.
And we hope that good enough is getting easier for you. Okay, I'll take a picture.
Good. I'm itching to get started.
Me too.